Liverpool are out of the Champions League. Absolutely crazy. Losing to PSG on penalties. I can't believe it. I thought Liverpool were the strongest side in the Champions League, particularly in the league phase of the format of the competition. They were absolutely electric. They dominated Leverkusen, beat AC Milan, smashed Real Madrid, and they've gone into the knockout phase against PSG, a side that underwhelmed in the early rounds of the Champions League. I can't believe it. I mean, PSG's record away from home against English sides in knockout competition in the Champions League is absolutely shocking. It really is. And Liverpool should have won this game. I'm not just saying that as kind of captain hindsight. They had 3 chances in the first half, clear as day, in the first 10 minutes, that Mohamed Salah has to be culpable of missing and putting a lot of blame at his door, at arguably the best player in world football, missing big opportunities today and getting absolutely manhandled by Nuno Mendes. We're going to talk about obviously Dembele's goal that brought the tie to an even footing, the penalties, Darwin Núñez, and some other things as well. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, would really appreciate it. As I said, in the first half, it was a strange game. It felt like a Jurgen Klopp side. Liverpool were open. They allowed PSG to counterattack them, but they wanted to be aggressive. They pressed forward. At points, they had 4 players pressing each of the 4 members of the back line for PSG. It, at points, looked like a 2-4-4 with Van Dijk, Konate being by themselves, with Trent, Robertson bombing forward just like they used to do all those years ago under Jurgen Klopp. And I'll be completely honest, I'm not just saying this again as someone that is looking back at it retroactively, being a little bit dramatic. I'll be real, it didn't work. It didn't work. Far too leggy, this Liverpool side. This is a Liverpool side that are fighting on multiple fronts, that had to rotate in the FA Cup, and they lost in the FA Cup. They've looked a little bit flat in the Premier League in the last few weeks. They look flat in France. And the Harvey Elliott goal put them in a big position to get into the next round of the Champions League. So this style from Arne Slot, this attacking gegenpress kind of style, doesn't suit Liverpool at this current juncture of where the squad is, where the form of the front 3 is. In my honest opinion, they've got injuries as well, Liverpool. A couple more rocked up today. Konate's got an injury. Trent's got an injury going into the League Cup final as well. The approach, look, I'm just a football fan. But the approach that would have worked against PSG, it always does, is you keep the ball, you make it a little bit boring. You don't let PSG think that they're superstars. You just keep the ball, and your extra 5%, 10% fitness that you get for playing in the Premier League, the atmosphere at Anfield, it carries you over the line. PSG's record in these kind of fixtures is absolutely atrocious. It really is. And I'm talking about against English sides. PSG are always going to be a strong side. They went far last season against Dortmund, of course. They're managed by one of the great modern managers in Luis Enrique. But there's still a very wasteful side that we're still chancing with Liverpool end to end, and Liverpool didn't take the chances, particularly in the first half. There was a couple of balls that fell to Mohamed Salah's like left foot inside the box, and he's bending things far of the goal. I thought Diaz today was so wasteful. I thought Jota taking a couple of pot shots from weird angles when he could have played people in. Very wasteful. The front 3 nowhere near as devastating, nowhere near as electric as it has been in the last few weeks. I'm not trying to be hypercritical, because again, they're fighting on multiple fronts. They were fighting for a version of the treble only a week ago, and now the League Cup final looks a little bit harder. Newcastle looked decent against West Ham on Monday. Injuries as well, and it's like, maybe Arne Slot was right to prioritise, the Southampton game with a lot of those players starting against Southampton, to just make sure that Liverpool didn't give anything back to Arsenal in the back end of the Premier League campaign, particularly if the form's going to carry on like this. Again, I'm not saying Liverpool were bad, but there were moments where I just think, where's that energy? Where's that zip gone from Liverpool in the first 3 or 4 months of the season? And you can't expect Liverpool to be 10 out of 10 in terms of energy, in terms of intensity. Of course not. But there's something about Mohamed Salah today that you just have to sit there and say, he looked leggy. He made the wrong decisions. And I'm not just talking about missing chances. You can miss chances all the time. He scored 30-odd goals this season already. I can't slag him off for missing chances. But the decision-making and even little moments like he gets bullied by Nuno Mendes. He's kind of rolling around, diving a little bit lightweight. He didn't look like the figurehead that Liverpool needed today. Liverpool deserved today to get through. I'll be honest. This is, again, Captain Hindsight. I don't know about Szoboszlai in that role. I don't know about Szoboszlai as the athletic presser from midfield, playing as his number 10. At points, he didn't link up play very well. I think you need cute, kind of snug players, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, in these kind of games against PSG, and they're just going to sit back, and you're always going to get opportunities against PSG, and Liverpool would have had a little bit more joy, in my honest opinion. I just don't think the McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai midfield, which has been absolutely fantastic for such a large part of the season, worked against PSG. We have to talk about the PSG goal. Absolutely fantastic. It was end to end, and a bit of a mix-up. A ball comes across the face of the box. Konate almost puts it in his own net, and it rolls off of him, and it goes into the path of Ousmane Dembele in the best goal-scoring form of his entire career. But this is the thing. This would be so frustrating for Arne Slot, so frustrating for Liverpool fans, is that he scored that goal. Absolutely fantastic. Barcola, a few minutes later, had a great chance as well to make it 2-0. And it could have been 2 or 3-0. Kvaratskhelia had a great chance as well from the left, trying to bend one in. And none of them came off. So PSG weren't even that good today. But to take it to penalties, to take it to a situation where you're giving Darwin Núñez an opportunity to miss it for you, it's a little bit amateur. It really is. I mean, these guys are professionals. Darwin Núñez carries a lot of weight in the changing room and on the pitch when you're drawing up penalty takers. He's just come on. He's fresh. But you could see in the first 5 minutes, he looked like a rabbit in headlights. He looked like Rasmus Højlund. I mean, there's a moment where the ball drops to him. He's about 5 yards away from it. And he thinks, I don't know, unless he thinks he's offside, but he sort of stops running for the ball. There's another one where he tries to play Salah in when Salah's clearly stopped running. There's just a couple of moments that were so raw, that were so unpolished as a footballer in the Champions League against a Luis Enrique side. You just think, now you're taking a penalty, a key penalty as well. Was it a bad penalty against Donnarumma? Probably it was. I mean, these guys have to be specialised. You know, these guys are training all the time for professional circumstances in the highest level of the sport. So you're playing against Donnarumma, anything in and around that area. He's not the most agile keeper in the world. He's a big keeper. So if he goes down, he's going to cover the entire width of whatever side of the net he goes down. So there has to be some element of, if you're going to take a penalty, you have to be a little bit cuter with it, surely, or maybe raise it. So once you start going down it, you can raise it into the top of the net a little bit. The height of the penalty from Darwin Núñez was poor. Maybe I'm being harsh and criticising penalty takers. They're so nervous. I get that, but these are professional footballers. I mean, Darwin Núñez cost £85 million. He cost Liverpool 2 points against Aston Villa. I think he's cost Liverpool multiple times now on a really high level, and this is the big one, unfortunately. I know Curtis Jones missed as well. It'll be very frustrating for Liverpool because I think they're the one side from England that can win the Champions League. They've had a bad night tonight, of course. I don't see it from Arsenal, and somehow they're the only side that can really have the mixture of the experience, the kind of positioning to say that they can be the challengers from England. I think Aston Villa, I think it's fair to say, a little bit too raw, a little bit too new to the competition. But Liverpool were a side that you think, yeah, they can go and do it, and getting knocked out by PSG on penalties is crazy. I never saw it happening. It all comes back to, what was Arne Slot doing against Bayer Leverkusen in the league phase of the Champions League? What was he doing against AC Milan, against Real Madrid? He was controlling the game. We love Gravenberch this season as football fans because he's been linking up play, keeping it calm, keeping it collected. The kind of, the word we use for Arne Slot is this kind of pragmatism. It's a little bit, not boring, but it's a little bit more sensible. It's less rock and roll football. And he reverted to Jurgen Klopp's type against PSG needlessly. They were still in the tie. They were 1-0 up, obviously, until the 12th minute. They could have just been a little bit more Guardiola. Just keep the ball. Be a little bit more Luis Enrique, what he wants to do with that midfield of Vitinha, of Ruiz and Neves. Be a bit more controlling of the ball. I thought McAllister losing the ball a little bit. Szoboszlai. It was all too end to end. When you're 1-0 up, You need a Jose Mourinho masterclass even. Just someone to lean into the weight of the fixture. Just calm it down a little bit. I think Liverpool played into PSG's hands. And that's why they've been knocked out of the Champions League. Who are your favourites to win the Champions League? Let me know in the comments down below. Liverpool are out. I'll see you very, very soon.